Hey guys, Modelling Weekly here. In today's longer than usual video, I'll be fully building, painting and weathering Eduard's Mustang in 1/48 scale. Enjoy! As this is a Profi Pack kit, the box includes canopy masks and photo etch parts alongside the usual deal. The plastic parts themselves are of a very high quality, with lots of delicate details and recessed rivets. It's a bit greasy though, so if you plan to brush paint it, then I'd recommend washing it in soapy water or priming it first. The decals are nicely printed, though the roundels turned out to be very thick. Be careful of this. Finally, we have the Profi Pack Extras. Both are very nice and helpful. The build of course began in the cockpit. After a little clean-up, the parts fitted together very nicely. A mixture of XF-4 and XF-5, as shown on screen, was used to paint the interior. I find that mixing your own cockpit green will yield the best results. All of the black cockpit elements, including the rubber floor, were painted with Mr Aqueous H12. The photo etch seatbelts included in the kit were a very nice addition, breaking up the monotonous green of the seat itself. They, along with all the other metal parts, were fixed in position with Loctite superglue. Now it was just a case of assembling the cockpit, ready for some basic weathering. Some smaller elements of the cockpit were painted with silver, black and white paints. The inside of the air intake was sprayed with Vallejo Metal colour aluminium. Chipping was applied to the cockpit using a black sponge. I used silver for metal elements and a wood tone for the rubber floor, as the rubber covers wooden floorboards in the real aircraft. All the painting was sealed in with XF-86 flat varnish. Following the varnish, a basic brown oil wash was added to bring out the detail in the cockpit, mostly on the walls. The wheel well featured a very interesting design in this kit. A basic frame is locked together by a panel that pulls the walls together, making a very strong mini construction. XF4 on its own was used to paint the wheel well. I added some extra basic detail in the wheel well using copper wire, though if I had lead wire then I most likely would have added a lot more. Copper can sometimes be annoying to work with. The wings fitted somewhat nicely to the fuselage, however some quite large gaps formed at the wing roots. These had to be filled with model filler. At this point the photo etch instrument panel had to be assembled. I considered using the kit supply decal for this, though the quality of the photo etch parts was higher than usual in this kit. Painting began with a basic gloss black primer. This turned out to be very rough, so I'll most likely use a lacquer based primer for my next build to get a nice smooth surface. Following the primer, I sprayed the main silver colour of the aircraft. For this I used Vallejo Metal colour aluminium. It doesn't produce a highly reflective finish, though it looks nice enough in the end. The panels around the exhaust were painted using a gunmetal shade. This was also used to add some tonal variation to the rest of the kit. I sprayed it along various panel lines and then sprayed a light coat of aluminium to blend them in. The invasion stripes were masked and sprayed using Mr Color H11 and H12. In order to get a nice shade of blue for the nose, I mixed my own colour using Tamiya XF-18 and X3, along with a few drops of white to brighten it. All the paint was sealed in using Alclad 2 clear gloss. I find that this creates a very smooth, high gloss finish, so I'll be using this product a lot in my future builds. Decals were applied using micro set and sole as per usual. There were tons of tiny decals included with this kit, so I didn't end up filming them all. Following another coat of gloss varnish, the model was given a very dark oil wash to bring out the surface detail. The excess was then rubbed off with a dry paper towel. Oil, gun and exhaust stains were added using an airbrushed mix of dark brown and black Tamiya paints. The tips of the propeller were painted with Tamiya XF-3 flat yellow. Then, the nose cone was painted and shaded with variants of the same blue mixture I used for the Mustang's nose earlier in the video. Some light chipping was added to the propeller using a small piece of sponge. And finally, here is the completed model. I'm more than happy with the result, and I'd definitely say that it's one of my most detailed kits. I spent ages trying out loads of techniques and methods to get a good result. Let me know what you think down below by leaving a like or a comment. Well, that's it for now, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye!